Anthony Slater here with Darnell Mayberry inside the Peak after a Thunder win over the Boston Celtics tonight. But, you know, it's another Phoenix Suns mid-2000s type score. What was the final tonight? Something like
122-118.
122-118. There's been a lot of those type of scores in the last month, which tells you this Thunder offense really is humming along, even without Durant, even without Serge Ibaka. Cantor's been great. Westbrook's obviously been like legendarily good. But the other flip side of that is the defense gives up 118. I think that's what, 11 out of the last 12 they've given up over 100.
I know it's 10 out of the last 11, but you might be right. I was wondering when you're going to mention that, the defense. That's bad. I mean, you can't give up 118 points to the Boston Celtics. If you do it at a win, I guess at this point, who cares? Wins are all that matters. It pushes them back a half game ahead of the Pelicans. And with 14 games left, that's really all that matters for this team at this point, getting wins. But they got to fix this defense.
Other than that, what'd you like tonight? I mean, you had Enes Kanter has called them the Bruise Brothers.
Yeah.
He goes for 20 and 12. I think Adams had 14 and 13. They're playing really well together.
They are. I thought this was a little bit of a questionable matchup against the Celtics, as was 2 nights ago against Dallas, putting those guys out there together against Dirk Nowitzki, and then tonight Brandon Bass, more perimeter-oriented power forwards, which Scott Brooks even said that, there are going to be nights where maybe a guy is going to struggle because he has to guard one of those guys. But they held their own against Dirk and against Brandon Bass. So, I think they're doing pretty good so far. It's just a matter of can they keep it up. And now Enes Kanter goes out with the ankle injury late in tonight's game. His status going forward is in question. He might not be available for Friday's game against the Hawks.
I was going to say, let's talk about that. He actually has a little wrist injury, which we didn't see, but I guess he goes to the locker room, comes back. Apparently had x-rays, and they were negative on the wrist. That now seems like a very minor issue compared to then he comes back in the game, rolls his left ankle, and then we both saw him post-game. He was limping heavily on that, needed to be helped to his locker at one point. I stayed around and talked to him. He doesn't think it's that serious. He called it a 6 or 7 out of 10.
Sounds pretty serious.
Well, yeah, I mean, as far as like a long-term thing, but it's tough for me. He said he doesn't know if he'll miss any time. He's going to get treatment tomorrow with that ankle.
A little beat up. I will be fine.
Is it just a little ankle twist, or what was it?
Well, we got an X-ray twice for my arm and ankle. Nothing broken, so
negative on both. Have you sprained your ankle before? I'm assuming you're a basketball
Well,
player.
I sprained my ankle in Dallas game, right ankle, and now it's left ankle.
Last game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
How about within your basketball career, how many times? I mean, it's obviously a common basketball injury.
Well, probably maybe, I don't know, like 10 times, I guess.
How does this compare pain-wise, severity-wise, would you say?
Probably like 6, 7 out of 10.
Do you feel like it's going to make you miss some time, or you feel like you're going to be able to?
Well, I'm going to try, so I have no idea. I'm going to go out there tomorrow, get some treatment, and try to move it in, and we'll see how it goes.
Everyone who's played basketball has had ankle injuries that linger around, but this does seem like at least something that could, cause him to miss a few games, and that's not a good thing at this point with how injury-prone this team is and where they're standing, fighting the Pelicans for the AC.
And not to mention the schedule. I mean, They got games coming up every other day essentially at this point. They don't have 2 and 3 and 4 day breaks like they did some quirks earlier in the season. They need guys healthy now. Serge Ibaka's out. Kevin Durant could be coming back any game for all we know, at least within the next week, according to what Scott Brooks told us last week. So they're getting healthy, but then it seems like as soon as someone comes back or is close to coming back, they lose another guy. So they really need to get healthy.
And they were moving. They were passing the ball around, and I thought about the last 6 minutes of that first quarter. We ended up catching some of their speed. And then the second quarter got away from us. And then at halftime we came back in, and I thought we did a great job in the second half. Take away the last 45 seconds. I think they scored 100 points in the last 45 seconds. But I thought we had a lot of good things. Obviously, we still had to keep working on the things that are important to us. But I thought a lot of good performances. I thought Enes did a great job putting himself available to score down low. Gave us a lot of easy buckets. And Emil did a good job of getting his feet set and finding shots for himself. And Russell did a good job of finding them.
Scotty wanted to take me out, but just came back in the game and tried to find a way to close it.
How crucial was Amo tonight for you guys?
Big man did a great job of knocking down shots as he always does. I thought he did a great job on the defensive end, and helping us rebound the basketball, and that was big for us. I think he don't get enough credit for that, so it was good. He made a lot of threes tonight. It was good. It was good. He played well for the team. He shot the ball well.
What did you guys do differently in that second half defensively that you corrected from the first half?
Just impose our will, use our strength, use our quickness, and be the aggressors, and it helped us out.
Hawks on Friday. You got to be a little excited, right, to watch that team in person. What are they? 53 and whatever. You know, we're talking about the top seed in the East. Somehow, I'm excited. It'll be the first time I've seen them live this season.
Yeah, you know, not having Kevin Durant, not having Serge Ibaka, that takes a little bit of the luster off the game, because that was a game coming into it I was looking forward to, especially with the way Atlanta really manhandled them out there earlier in the season. I thought that was going to be a game that the Thunder looks at and like, okay, we got to get some payback here. And that's really when the Thunder's at their best, when they're motivated, when they got a team that maybe has beaten them earlier in the season. But with so many guys out, maybe 3 starters at this point, Enes Kanter, Serge Ibaka, and Kevin Durant, it's going to be tough to keep up with that Hawks offense.
Can I get you a little bit more excited for the game? The return of Thabo Sefolosha, too. He's on the Atlanta Hawks. He's injured, but he actually might return Friday. It'll be an interesting one. It'll be the interesting end of the season for the Thunder, as we keep saying. But that'll do it for us in the Peak. For the best Thunder coverage team anywhere, stay tuned to newsok.com and every day in Oklahoma.